Hey there, it's the Machine of Nonsense, episode 54, and we are going 10 years back to the year 2011. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by Kayla.
Hello.
And we've got Aaron.
Hello.
And Mike.
Hey.
We're going back to 2011 and doing a video game draft of the stacked lineup of games that were released in 2011. We've done previous drafts on this show, like the 2013 video game draft, so this is going to be a lot like that. I'll get into the rules and how this is all going to play out in just a moment, but let's go around the room. It's been a while since we talked about what we've been up to. Aaron, start us off. What you been playing and watching?
What I've been playing is I got the Skyrim 10th anniversary game. It's pretty great because I'm playing on PS5. I didn't know it could look better, but it does look. It just looks amazing.
Really?
I don't think I've had a single load time longer than 3 seconds. Like fast
that's amazing with that
through
game.
things, and it's you go through the door. Like I used to hate, like, oh, I got to shop here, but I have to go through the door first, and I would just avoid it because I didn't want to have to do it. But now it's like 1 to 3, like the screen turns black, and then that's it. And then it's ready. Most of the time, it doesn't even load anything to like the loading screen. It's pretty great. I like getting all the creation club stuff. That's really cool.
I was just gonna ask, like, I know there's a bunch of new armor and weapons and like horse armor and all that shit. Yeah, is that pretty cool? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's not. I thought it was gonna be like, you know how usually you buy DLC and then it's just in your inventory. I thought it was gonna be something like that, but really all it does is put the quest to obtain it somewhere in the world. And in the description of the item, it'll tell you where to start the quest, like the description of the Creation Club thing, so you can go find it. But some of it's like level dependent. Like you gotta be level 30 before you can even start some of the armor requests. But it's pretty cool. Like I like that a lot. And then with the special editions, when they gave access to mods on the PlayStation, that's still available. But yeah, it's pretty great. It looks amazing. Just like the fog, like if there's fog, it looks so real. It doesn't look like it's just obscuring things that haven't loaded. It just looks real. There's no like jerky movements from NPCs. It looks amazing and smooth the whole time. It's great.
Wow.
How much fishing you been doing?
I did a little fishing, but weird thing, the game doesn't actually really explain how to fish. So that you get it and it's complicated, but you don't get told how to do it. So I had to like Google and watch some YouTube videos, and it's still just easier jumping in the water and grabbing the fish. And then the fish are still completely useless once you have them, unless you're really into cooking.
Get up.
But you know, it was all right. I mean, it's a lot of fun so far. Like I got into it. I'm like, I'm gonna do all this extra stuff they added. And then I'm following the same exact patterns I do every single time I play Skyrim. I'm like, all right, well, now I'm going to gather all the ore in the world and just mine all day, and like smithy all day. And
I like smithing.
That's how I spend most of my time. That's like I'm like level 20 like immediately because I'm like, I'm going to smith all the stuff, and then I sell it, and then I buy all the ore, and then I smith all the stuff, and then you go get transmute and turn all your iron ore into gold and silver, and it's awesome at that point. But that's what I've been playing. I've been and just watching I'm watching an older show called Hellier, which is kind of like a fake documentary horror show. My tattoo artist told me about when I was getting my last tattoo with her, and it's really good. I mean, the average horror fan's probably not going to like it because it's almost exclusively talking, but it's pretty good. That's what I've been up to.
Nice.
Kayla, you're the average horror fan.
Damn.
And you love talking. How you been digging Arcane?
I have liked Arcane. Arcane is on Netflix and it's based on League of Legends, right?
Yeah.
which I have no experience with whatsoever. But I am just way super impressed with the video game adaptations that Netflix is putting out. Now, granted, I don't have much to compare it to, but they're enjoyable, so that's all I care about.
I think Netflix would love to hear, like, hey, I've never played this game before, but I really like this show. Like, they're getting, not just the league crowd, but
They're
more
good at
people.
it.
So, yeah.
You could have told me that it was a Dishonored show, because it just has the aesthetic of Dishonored, the
Really?
character models and stuff, and it's in a steampunk-esque world that also has magic and stuff. So if it didn't have it has League of Legends all over it. There's it says Arcane League of Legends or whatever. But if you didn't tell me that, and you said hashtag Dishonored or something, I would have been like, oh, yeah, it seems like a Dishonored show. But yeah, the world's just cool. The
Is the
animation's great.
main character is a female character, Kayla? Yeah.
It's two sisters.
Oh, okay.
And
Because I think
live.
they added one of them to the game recently. That's why
They live in the slums, and they steal shit and get into trouble.
Ooh,
That
nice.
sounds cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, if you just dig animation, it's not quite as brutal as Castlevania, but it's still pretty there have already been some character deaths and stuff, yeah, and some pretty violent confrontations and stuff like that. So it's a step down, I'd say, from Castlevania in terms of it's just uber violence and stuff, but still, it's an adult ass cartoon.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
We also finished Reservation Dogs.
Yes.
Picked up the term shit ass.
Oh.
Now I just say that all the time. No, not really, but they do.
I don't know if it's an indigenous, a Native American thing or something, or just a
Oklahoma thing. I don't
know. But yeah, everyone just calls each other shit ass.
So I would assume, yeah, that it might be.
It's so good. It's so good. They use it lovingly and also as a put down, and it's so good.
And we've just been playing It Takes Two. Really digging that. That's a lot of fun.
You guys finished it?
Not yet. Almost.
Oh, okay.
It seems like we're almost there.
Man, it's a lot longer than I would have thought going into it. I think we both said that.
Yeah, there's a lot of realms that you're in, if you will.
It's steadily going up my list of favorite games this year. I think it's really, really well done.
Yeah, they play on the puzzle aspect pretty good.
I was just having the conversation with Kayla. We were playing a little this morning, and I was saying that man, there are multiple. I keep going. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna add that to my list of scenes of the year at the end of the year, and then it keeps no, I think that one is actually probably the one I'd pick from this game. It just has these cool little yeah, you're in different realms or whatever little areas, and they're constantly mixing and matching different mechanics and stuff like that, and in really interesting ways. It's challenging but not frustrating. I feel like just about anyone could pick it up and play it for the most part. Takes every
kind of forgiving. It's pretty forgiving. There's a lot of jumping and timing, and you don't really die, so you can figure it out.
Yeah, really good checkpointing, and you could play trial and error with it a lot. So,
how's the ignitable bee fluid?
It's good stuff.
Is it? Okay.
It's really good. It's really good.
An update on the Alexa stuff. Fans of the show might remember that I had asked Alexa to play an episode, and it was that, give me fuel, give me fire, give me ignitable bee fluid. And she said it just like that, just perfect. And the latest episode, a mayor, a Metroid, and an M Night walk into a bar. It was really fun to hear a robot say that.
Oh, that's all I've ever wanted. For a robot to say that to me. Oh, Aside from Alexa, what else you been up to, Mike?
Watched Shang-Chi finally, and the Ten Rings. Man, Aquafina. I whatever's right below patron sainthood in Machine of Nonsense. I think she's that, whatever that is, because man, she just made that movie work for me in a lot of ways. That's a movie I'm excited to talk about more end of the year stuff because lot going on in that one. Lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
I know
But I enjoyed
Josh
it.
loved it. Josh was over the moon, I think, on that one.
I think Josh would say Aquafina is the patron saint of the show.
I mean, she could be full sainthood. I'm not against that, but overall, I would rank it within that like Doctor Strange tier, which I put like right below the goods. You know, your main, Avengers and Civil War, Guardians, Spidey,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
8 out of 10 rings.
yeah, I think that's a solid ring to that. I like that. Yeah, still watching Midnight Mass. I think got 3 left of that. Still highly recommend that show. Big fan. And yeah, started up some Diablo 2 finally. That is that's a game. That is an old game.
Yeah.
That is not a game I like. I don't think.
No.
I don't
Oh
think
no! Oh no!
it's,
Back in high school, I
man.
played with Josh, and I would just pick Barbarian and put every skill point into Bash, and he would get so mad at me that I just ran around bashing everything. But it would work. Like, I was horrible at groups, but like I just bash bosses and they would die because I didn't have points in anything else.
There's
I was putting points in some stuff, but man, sorry. Go ahead, Kayla.
I just got so excited because there's a realm or a part of It Takes Two where you're very top down and made me excited.
Ooh,
It's basically
Oh, that's
Diablo, like
cool.
a small little Diablo
it's called
section.
like a dungeon run
Dungeon crawler
world.
Dungeon
Yeah,
crawler. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
nice,
fun.
nice.
It's a cute little part.
Yeah.
I,
It's
I I don't know if they didn't put in the work. Like Diablo 3 feels like it could have just been a console game. This port of Diablo 2 does not feel like that. It's
Oh no.
still very clunky interfaces and yeah, not a fan so far. I might dig a little more into it and see if it changes. But yeah, so far I'm not impressed. Sorry, Josh.
well, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
We can't all be Diablo 3. You mentioned Midnight Mass. Have you checked out any of the other haunting stuff by the same guy?
I haven't. I might after this. It's like Hill House and Bly Manor. Would you say Midnight Mass is the best of those 3, Aaron,
No.
or
No.
no? Okay.
Midnight Mass is like it's good. It's got a really good like atmosphere and feel. I like
Yes.
most of the 15-minute monologues from the characters.
Yes.
The story is extremely predictable, and it's from the first episode you feel where the whole story is going most of the time. So it's like okay, and it's like a really well done like drama, but it's not scary, I don't think.
Yeah.
Whereas the other two, you're a little scared while watching it, like you don't know what's coming, you don't know how it goes. So I like it a lot. Like I don't think it's as good as say I think I liked Bly Manor the best. I would put it a little below that, and I probably like it more than I liked Haunting of Hill House, but
Yeah, I
Okay,
liked them all
cool.
about the same, I'd say, but for different reasons. Like, I definitely agree that Midnight Mass isn't as, like, scary or atmospheric as either of the other two. I think, like, Hill House is probably, for me, the most, like, traditional, just spooky,
yeah, for
like,
sure.
And then I kind of liked the mystery of Bly Manor most, I would say.
Yeah.
And then Midnight Mass, I think, is like a decent combination of both. A little spooky here and there. I like what they're doing with like religion and cultism and all of that in Midnight Mass. Whereas like the other two are just more traditional ghost stories, you know, like
Right, for sure.
yeah. But
Yeah,
I
the
was
religion aspect like is so well done so far in it. Whereas like stuff like The Conjuring,
Right.
it's so cheesy in that to me. And this is like no, like the actual scary aspects of how
Right.
religion can be and
Well,
uh
the problem with things like The Conjuring is like the married couple that all those movies are based around are ultra religious. Like they used in real life, they used like blessings from priests to cure all their supposed hauntings. So it's really hard to make movies about that stuff when their answer to everything was to just call the church. But yeah, I can see Midnight Mass was great. I mean at least you grew up Catholic, so you at least you understand the traditions of the religion. Whereas my wife is she went to Catholic school when she was younger, and I had to I'm like, do Catholic people really do these things? Like it's weird.
yeah,
and confirm.
it reminds me closer to not even like Exorcist or something that, but like kind of like Spotlight, just like the horrific things that can be like religion can be a good thing, I think, but it all like the other side of that coin is can be pretty
Only
dark
Sith
and
stealing
scary.
absolutes.
Uh, so, but also, man, Disney dropped some cool stuff yesterday. Disney made you your favorite, Open Wide, and announced that new X-Men show. They're going to continue off of the animated series from the '90s, X-Men '97. It's called. Like, can't wait to see
Sounds
what that
fun.
looks like.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, showed off Moon Knight and some Obi-Wan stuff. Uh, they it's like a cool behind the scenes thing, and just to hear Ewan McGregor seems so excited for it, and was really excited to be reconnected with Hayden Christensen and stuff. So uh, it was cool. Yeah, exciting stuff.
Their launch of all that was super weird.
Yeah.
Like, it was in the morning, so we watched the news in the morning on ABC, which is owned by Disney and everything else. So they did some promos on that. They showed like, oh, the new Guardians of the Galaxy ride at like Walt Disney World, and they were
Cool as
talking.
hell.
Yeah, it looks cool, and they were like talking up, oh, it's Disney Plus Day and everything else.
These
But
10 people get a free subscription.
but then it was like, okay, well, where do I go to find this stuff? And then like some of it was like on Twitter, some of it you had to like go into Disney Plus and check them out through that. And then eventually it all kind of has made its way to like YouTube and stuff, but even that is a little. We were checking out this morning trying to find like individual like a supercut or just like individual trailers and stuff, and
Impossible to find, almost very
it's
difficult without like some kind of reaction tied to it. Like, no, I just want to watch a 30-second Moon Knight trailer. I don't want a 15-minute frame by
Right.
frame fucking reaction to this. But very weird. Yeah, I agree.
we got Moon Knight catfished this morning even because
Oh
we like
no.
we went into YouTube and like typed in like Moon Knight and like okay trailer and stuff, and like okay first hit is like new 2022 Moon Knight teaser trailer or whatever. Okay, cool, let's click on that. And it was like a fan made weird thing. I think it had like scenes from Card Counter in there. Like it was something, man.
Some Oscar Isaac Ska Band-Aids footage tied
I think
in
it
there.
had what's the guy's Keith David. I think it had like some Keith David like
Oh
voiceover and
wow.
stuff. Like it
Is he
was.
involved in that at
I
all?
don't know. I don't think so.
I hope he is. I love Keith David. But, yeah.
Yeah, it was something, but yeah. So watch out, folks, when you're on the YouTube. You might watch a 2-minute Moon Knight trailer. That's not a Moon Knight trailer.
I fall for that stuff all the time. Like I'll Google a book I like to like see if there's like if it continues or if they're making it anything, and then there's gonna be like a 6-minute trailer on a movie, and at the end, like, oh, it's fan created from other footage.
Ooh.
Cool. But I mean, it looks like a
Right.
great trailer, but they never.
Yeah.
There
I've
was
watched a
one
couple.
April Fools where I got totally IGN fucked me on a Darth Maul like fan made show trailer. Oh, it's so
Me too.
good. Oh man,
It
and I
had a little
was about
short.
to
It was
like
like
share it on Facebook or something like, oh my god, look at this. And as I'm typing, like, wait a minute. Like what it's no, it's not.
Oh.
So,
Always
yeah.
get your Darth Maul straight from the source, folks. Just watch out. You guys want to talk 2011?
yeah, let's do
I
it.
do. We're
All
doing.
right.
Why are we doing this 2011? What's happening recently?
Well,
to warrant
Aaron
this?
kind of mentioned that he's been playing a little bit of Skyrim. It's the 10th anniversary. 11/11/11 was when
Man,
Skyrim originally released, and
what a
it's
marketing date for that.
oh wonderful. They're even rehashing it with Starfield next year. 11/11/22 for Starfield.
Not
See if it
as
hits
good,
that.
but fun. You know.
Well, 11 plus 11. You know I love doing math on this pod.
Yeah,
22.
sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Math, space, it all makes sense. You're right.
2011 was just a watershed year for video games. I mean, like going
Yeah.
through in preparation of this draft, I had to just cut things off of like my long list. I'm just like, well, I liked that game, but I didn't love it. There's just so much. I mean, from sequels to new IP to just like everything in between. Just such a great year in video games.
Some of my absolute favorite games are from this year. This is a big one.
So we thought we should probably do a draft. This is going to be very similar to some drafts that we've done in the past. We've done the 2013 video game draft, and we've also done a what other draft did we do? Did we just did one recently?
2013.
We did a spooky
Oh,
Spooky draft, right. We did the spooky draft
Yeah.
for Halloween. So this is going to be very similar. We're doing 6 rounds. You have to fill 6 categories. And because this is video games, they're genre-based categories. So there's 4 contestants here. I've randomly generated a turn order. We're going to do it snake style, not steak style. That's a little different.
Today it's solid Snake style.
Ooh,
Shout
I
out
like
to
it.
20th anniversary of Metal Gear Solid 2. Great game. But anyway,
I like it.
back to
We should do
2011.
that from now on. Instead of calling it snake style, it should be solid
Solid
snake
Snake
style. I like it. So we are filling in 6 categories apiece. The categories are genre based and they go as follows. RPG is its own category, so we all have to pick an RPG. Next category is action adventure or first person shooter. The next category is real time strategy, 2D, platformer, or walking sim. So anything in that kind of broad range there for
Wide
that
category.
category. Wide
Very wide.
category. The next, horror, survival, or puzzle. Anything in that category. The next category, sports, racing, party, fighting, all that multiplayer fun stuff.
Mhm.
And then you have a wild card category, which can be literally anything. You can double up on something that you've already kind of picked from, one of the categories, or maybe something that doesn't quite fit into all those categories. It's your choice. It's the wild card. So those are the 6 categories. Let's get to our draft order. So round 1 is going to start with Mike, then Kayla,
Oh,
then Aaron, and finally myself. It'll snake around in round 2, so then it'll go in reverse order. So that'll be me, Aaron, Kayla, and then Mike. That's how the snake works, the solid snake.
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
All right, well, good thing you're ready, Mike, because you start off round 1. Tell me the category you're picking and the game.
All right. RPG is stacked this year. So I'm gonna get my action out of the way first. I'm not gonna take Skyrim first, even though it's solid first pick. I'm taking Arkham City off the board. Sorry, anyone looking for that, but just a great game. Many of these games, I was there at midnight launch. This was one of them. Yeah, Arkham City, great game, great open Batman game. Probably my favorite Batman game out of those three. Four, I guess. I never played Origins, but
Batman Arkham City in the action adventure category. Kayla, you're next. What you got?
I will take Skyrim for RPG.
of course.
Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim in the RPG category for Kayla. Is this game any good, Kayla?
It is. It's my favorite game of all time.
Hey, man, I should have took it. Damn it. That would have been fun.
Batman game, favorite game of all time. I haven't played the anniversary release, but I do plan to.
Hell yeah. Such an amazing experience. Another game, picked it up at midnight. I remember just, getting out of the tutorial area, whatever, going a random direction, finding like this temple or something, completing that, getting this weird dragon claw pendant, then like, I guess I should go like the main story route, and then like, oh, I already found the thing that the main story wanted me to find. Holy shit. And it was just a cool aha moment that led to 100 more after that. Just a great game.
Just love the world. It's just like Aaron was talking about how pretty it is, and I can't wait to just see it all again.
Yeah, I associate that game with a lot of jank, and to hear that it's kind of jankless has me excited. Yeah,
like nobody's popping through walls or doing weird stuff or walking around each other. It's great.
I got a backwards dragon once.
Oh wow, yeah.
I never, not too much crazy dragon stuff for me, but yeah.
I haven't found any dragons yet, so I don't know how they look in this. But
Oh, I bet they're great.
It's probably a whole rabbit hole to jump through, but I wonder if Skyrim, because it's a sequel, it's the 5th game in the Elder Scrolls, I wonder if that is the number one example of like a sequel game that people have played the most that have never played any other in the series.
In the franchise?
Yeah.
You're probably right.
The Elder Scrolls is a little weird in that the games literally have zero to do with each other than the type of gameplay. Like, because they're not even, because they're all in different lands, and the original ones are even hard to find and not as good. Like, so
I have probably only played Miss Pac-Man.
Oh, okay. See?
Oh man.
Okay.
No Pac-Man Rally? What?
That's a. Is this correct in my thoughts? That's
no Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man's the sequel to Pac-Man. That's a good.
Right.
That's a good call. It's a good
Days
grab.
and Peppies and Hammond, man.
Boom.
Oh.
Wow, Kayla, way to blow up my whole episode idea.
Speaking for myself.
I think you spoke true. Aaron, let's get this back on track. What do you got for round 1?
For puzzle, I pick Portal 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Excellent pick.
That's the pick. That's
puzzle.
I'm so excited for it to come out. Literally the sounds the sound of the orange portal opening is my ringtone on my phone. You can download any of their songs that uses like a calling ringtone, and I've got that for something else. I love that game so much. When my son got a little old, I was excited to play it with him. He didn't, I should have waited a little longer, but
Great
Still
co-op,
haven't
great
played it with him,
player
or?
campaign.
Yeah, we did for a little bit, but he didn't like get the concept of it. I should try again.
It's a heady game, man. That might be check in once a year to just see if he's
It came out the same year he was born, so now 10th anniversary. He's 10. He should try it.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm
that a
still
lot.
not old enough for that game. I'm real bad at Portal.
I
1
love
and
them.
2 I've played, and
I played one. I played 2 first, and
oh wow.
and then I liked it a lot. And I went back and played Portal.
I got the orange box when that came out, and I played like
So good.
about 5 hours of each of the games, and just like didn't. I mean, you don't really finish Team Fortress, but
Right.
I didn't really get into it as much as Classic. I used to really like Team Fortress Classic, but that's me. And it just so happens to be my turn.
Great picking.
RPG is pretty stacked. I'm gonna go in the action adventure category. I'm gonna do Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, first person shooter. Really, I think it's a really good bow on. It's the third of that series. It's a really good bow on the story of Captain Price. If you follow, any of that. Great storytelling, honestly, in a pretty just it's Call of Duty, it's tunnel based first person shooter. You're just going down a track basically, but the in between and the events, there's a scene in this where you have to blow up the Eiffel Tower, and it's one of my favorite scenes of all time because it just happens like somewhat randomly. Like there's not a lot of build up. It's just you're fighting around the Eiffel Tower, and it just so happens that like okay, to beat the enemy at that time, like at the end of the battle or whatever, you just got to do it. Just blow it, and you just kind of see the Eiffel Tower fall down and stuff.
Mm.
It's good. It's such a cinematic like game and everything else. So Call of Duty,
Nice pick.
Modern
How was
Warfare.
You play a lot of multiplayer with that one?
No, none of that. Like I
Mm.
played a little bit of all three of
Yeah.
the Modern Warfare multiplayer, but really I played them for the campaigns. Like
Yeah.
and I've gone back and played those campaigns like multiple times. They're short. They're like 5-hour experiences. So you can go back and it's just like it's good stuff. So at the end of round 1, we have Mike picking Batman Arkham City in the action first person shooter category. Kayla picking Skyrim in the RPG category. Aaron with Portal 2 in the puzzle category. And myself picking Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 in the action first person shooter category. Round 2 starts with me. So I'm gonna go horror survival puzzle
Son of a bitch.
category. And go Dead Space 2.
Fucker. God damn it. Ugh.
Dead Space
greedy.
2 kind of ramps up everything that the first one did. Just a really cool game. The first one wrapped up, if I remember right, like pretty well, and they didn't need to really do a sequel, but I remember it working, like it being like, oh yeah, this works. I still want to hang out with Isaac Clarke and be in this like world and everything else. So, and they just ramped up like the enemy types and the visuals and everything else, and just fucking creepy game.
Excellent game. Excellent. Just making Isaac just more of a character when he was just like a silent protagonist, and it working. Just a big feat from that team. Miss what was that, Volition, I think, made that. They're kind of just a support studio now, it seems. So, well, no, are they? They're doing the new remake.
I don't know
Are they
who's
behind
behind that exactly. Maybe some, like maybe like
Yeah, it's
yeah.
probably like 10 studios working on that. Yeah,
Right. I don't think they've really like played into that whole like from the creators of the original Dead Space thing too much. I think it's just like, oh yeah, we're making a remake and you know, it'll feel
that's
like
what the PUBG game creator guy. That's they're touting that for their Dead Space looking game. Calypso was that or something like?
Calypso Protocol, I think.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. That looked neat. But
Saw that about
yeah,
3 years ago, right?
what a game! Last year at the Game Awards.
Oh gosh. Feels like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it can feel that way sometimes.
Aaron, what you got for round 2?
Do you guys count the Lego games as like platformers? I really don't know what I would call those.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, then for a platformer, I'd pick Lego Harry Potter, years 5 through 7.
Ooh, good years.
Right? Um, I'm such a huge fan of the books for that, and it's really cool because during a time when everything is all like movie based for it, there's so many like Easter eggs in that game that are just little tiny background things from the books, and it's just
Oh,
so
wow.
fantastic and fun to play. Like it's really cool. Like the Lego games all got so like weirdly off track to where they're just full video games with Lego characters now. But the Lego Harry Potter one was always like really cool. I like that a lot. So
Yeah, I'm excited for that, like, Skywalker Saga game or whatever to finally come out, that Lego game. I think that'd be a cool way to get the kids into Star Wars.
Yeah, as
More.
much as I don't want anything more from the Skywalker saga, that game just looks super fun.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, get those kids on Star Wars early. Do it.
Indoctrinated. Yeah, you're right.
Kayla, round 2.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a big pick, Kayla. Don't mess it up.
I'm having a hard time with the change of the categories we made, but I'm gonna pick the one I think I had the hardest time with. So
Good idea.
I'm gonna do, let's call it a platformer, I believe, Little Big Planet 2.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't have
PS3
anything for
joint.
that category. Yeah.
Cool Sackboy stuff in that one. Cute
Yeah.
character.
Yeah,
just love
those.
that game.
It's a platformer, right? I never played it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
2D.
It was a free game with PS Plus. I don't know, a year ago, and my kids would love that game. So
I'd love to jump into it now with all the because it's probably got all the stuff like the creation stuff that people have been working on for 10 years at this point, right? Like, I
They
bet.
are shutting a lot of that down soon.
Oh,
So,
that makes sense. Yeah, you can't just have all that data on servers for 20 years or whatever. But
I think you might be able to access all the stuff that's still there, but I don't think you can add to it. So that's still a decent, something.
the whole creation studio aspect of that was just way over my head. I could not create a level or anything like that. The tools were great. Like, people were able to do amazing things.
I think that 2 was the one where people were like, "Hey, we can make a first-person shooter in this somehow, and we can make just an RPG somehow with these creation tools." Yeah, people did crazy stuff with it.
They made so many harmonics level Guitar Hero stuff, like
Oh,
music
wow.
based stuff in that, where because there were tools to where you could make pianos and things of that nature, and they would just expand on like the musical aspect
Oh.
stuff. Pretty nuts.
Live those games live and die by the community, and that one, it had a big community.
Little Big Planet too. Good pull, Kayla. Mike, round 2.
All right. So I get 2 picks. Yes.
You
You
do.
do.
Um. Eric fucked me on horror. We've got a couple there. I'm gonna get my fighting game out of the way for the multiplayer category there. I'm going Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I think both versions came out in the same year, but this was like the expansion version to it, added a bunch of cool fighters, Nemesis from Resident Evil, Firebrand from Ghosts and Goblins. I think this added Phoenix Wright as well. Just a cool game, such a cool style, really fun to play. I didn't get really deep into it like Josh did. He was very good at it. Played a lot of online, but just a fun kind of party game. It was awesome. It was cool to see that series come back. Not in a terrible form like they did with that weird Infinity one that came out not too long ago. But yeah, just a great game.
Round 2 finishes with Mike picking in the fighting category Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Kayla picked Little Big Planet 2 in the platformer category. Aaron, Lego Harry Potter Years 5 through 7 platformer. And the inspired pick by myself, Dead Space 2 in the horror category. Mike, start off round 3.
All right, I'm gonna pick my platformer now. I'm going with Limbo. Such just like a little perfect game, in my opinion. Such cool style. This game, you're just like a kid, kind of in limbo, trying to just. You're not sure if you're trying to escape or trying to get to something, but it has like a cool, subtle little story to it, and it's really just a puzzle platformer. Really fun to play through. It's a game I play through like once a year. It's short. It's sweet. Such a great game. It was a Xbox Live game of summer type thing when that was huge at the time, and really one of the like indie games are here moment for me, and love it. Just love that game.
Was that the first from that studio? Like,
Play Dead, yeah.
Yep.
And then they Inside after that, which is just as good. Love that game too, and excited to see what's next. They haven't said much, but they've been coy. Love that studio.
Yeah, Limbo's real cool. Played that one only very recently for the first time, and beautiful game. Really cool visual, like art style on that one.
Yeah, almost a horror game too. Both of them, Limbo and Inside, have some really strange moments. But
Hey, if you had picked horror, I wouldn't argue on that one. Yeah, it's creepy at very least. Kayla, round 3.
Count if I think it's creepy and horrifying. Can I call it a horror game?
I think we can have a discussion, like if there's something that like skirts the boundaries of like a genre and enough of us kind of tend to agree. Yeah, sure.
Well,
It's all for fun.
then. This is the bridge I needed for that, I guess. I think Dark Souls is pretty creepy and scary
yeah,
and horrifying.
that is. Wow.
Great.
Are you picking that in the
I
horror
am.
category?
Yes, I am.
Wow,
Wow.
you son of a bitch. Oh boy.
You started it. You made somebody mad first.
Hey.
I would have picked Dead Space as well.
Live by the sword,
Had me
die by the
scrambling.
sword.
Oh, sword and board. Wow, Dark Souls
Yeah,
in the horror category. I can't
You
deny
didn't
that
pair it
game
up
is
to it,
scary
did
as
you?
shit. I did not think that was going to happen today, folks.
Good. I'm glad because I was like, damn. I looked it up. I'm like, it doesn't have it listed as horror. I'm like, shit. But
I mean, we could have that discussion. I'm
think it's
pro.
terrifying.
I think that's a scary ass game.
Yes, absolutely. Those catacombs, like, man, just the dark areas of that game, the swamps. Oh yeah, big spooky dragons.
Creatures. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just walking up to something and not knowing what can happen, or opening a mimic chest and it swallows you whole. Like, it's definitely spooky.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Sweet.
Triggering a trap and just getting squashed by something, like, spooky.
Well, Dark Souls in the horror category for Kayla. Aaron, what you got?
RPG, Dragon Age 2.
Ooh, man, solid pick.
I really like that game.
I liked it too. People shit on Dragon Age 2, and I liked it so much more than the first one, honestly.
It has that same, well, it even has the same, well, obviously it's basically the same game as Knights of the Old Republic, where the first game has a much, much better story and characters, but the gameplay gets better with the sequel because they add more choices and level up options. The best part of those things are like prestige classes, and I liked it a lot. Now when I replay it every now and then, I'm never gonna replay Dragon Age 1 So I'll replay 2 and
Yeah, some great characters. I loved Meryl, the elf girl.
oh
In
yeah,
that
for
one.
sure.
Her story was great. People hated how they reused a lot of the areas, I think, in that, but
It's in the same world. I think it's fair to
yeah.
reuse the areas.
And I didn't mind. I didn't mind going back to the same kind of spots and accessing new parts to it, and going back to the hub city and seeing what's going on there. Fun game, good bit.
Oh boy, man. That RPG category is getting hit pretty hard there.
I'm so stacked.
Oh, I was
Solid
gonna
picks.
go RPG in this, but it may have.
Don't let it get thinner.
Well, I
Yeah.
I need to. I think. Um. Gosh. Okay. In the RPG category, I'm gonna go Final Fantasy 13-2.
Oh.
The second ever sequel to a Final Fantasy game. Pretty cool world. Really like the world of Final Fantasy 13. The plot, the characters they went somewhere with all that. This is an example of them just going for it. Like this is Square at their most unrestrained, I would say. And I think for some people that works and some people it doesn't, but they got me. They got me for close to whatever 300 hours because I played all 3 of those games, all of
Yikes.
the Final Fantasy 13s. So at least like 200 hours probably. So Final Fantasy 13-2 for my RPG pick.
I didn't even know they made a 13-2. I played the first 13. I have obviously the 13, but I have never played 13-2.
I think it's them restraints a lot because they're like, we made this expensive engine. We need to make 3 games for this thing somehow.
Right. I just like the story is completely bonkers. The characters are just out there. Like it's that thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if the gameplay, I guess you're right. Yeah, the gameplay is very similar from the 3, It's definitely not like Final Fantasy X to Final Fantasy X-2 where like the gameplay was completely different pretty much. So,
Nice.
I picked the best RPG of that year.
Yeah, you don't seem in love with that picture. You gritted through
Well,
that.
I may have wanted Dark Souls here. I may have wanted to pick Dark Souls. But
But you get a second pick. You get another pick here.
I do. So round 3 has come to a close with Mike picking Limbo in the platformer category, Kayla with the sneaky Dark Souls pick in the horror category, RPG, Aaron picked Dragon Age 2, and Eric picked Final Fantasy 13 too. Okay, round 4, I'm starting this bad boy off, and I'm gonna be a little sneaky here, okay, guys? In the fighting game category, coming to arcades, late 2011,
Oh.
Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The console release was in 2012, but I 100% have played the shit out of this game at arcades, so it counts.
Nice. Very good pick. Great game. So, like, such a huge roster. I love picking a fighting game and just seeing infinite tiny squares with little character portraits in them. It just makes me happy.
I think I read that it remains like the largest roster in a Tekken release ever, because they added to it like the console releases and stuff like added DLC and whatnot. So they've
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, even at release it was like the largest, and then they've added from there. So
No Akuma, though. So, dock you a little bit for that one.
ugh, ugh.
The best
I,
Tekken character.
I didn't say Street Fighter 2. All right, Aaron, Round 4.
Action adventure. I'm gonna do Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D because this is actually I played the one on the N64 like a million times, and then I didn't touch it for years. And then when it came out on the 3DS, that's the first time I played it in such a long time. So
Nice. It's
thinking.
kind of the best way to play that game now.
Yeah,
Looks better, runs better.
I like the I don't know, the handheld, playing a handheld I thought was pretty great. So
Nice.
I'm pretty sure I replayed it again on the Switch, one of the Zelda games I did. So
One of them.
It's on the Switch Online now if you do that like expensive ass fucking expansion pass. That crazy ass
God.
month. Yeah.
You mean the win back pass?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh, good pick. Ocarina of Time is timeless, you know. Kayla, round 4.
I am gonna do mine for action adventure, and I'm gonna pick Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception.
Wonderful pick. Might have been on my list too, maybe. You know.
Wow. Now it's on mine.
I used to love the marketing for this game. They really made it seem like Drake was not going to get out of this one. And there's even some sections in the game where, you know, you're like, oh, did Drake finally meet his end and stuff? Like, cool ass game. I mean, those games are a great example of just like ramp up from one to the next, especially if you play the collection that has like 1 through 3. You could just see like going back to 1, you're like, man, my memory of this game is a lot better than maybe the actual game is, and then you're like, oh, 2 is what I'm remembering. Yeah, this is great. And then into 3, it's like, oh, everything's just fine tuned and bigger and better, and you know, and then they blew it out of the water with 4. So
Steady climb.
yeah, Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. Mike, let's finish up round 4.
Okay. So what categories do I have left here? RPG, wild card. I have 3 left, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna get my. I'm also doing a little. I'll need some counsel here on this one for puzzle. I'm gonna go LA Noire. That game is just a lot of solving these like facial like puzzles. Am I wrong?
Man, people are just murdering my picks in other categories. Oh boy.
Sorry, man.
I mean, it's a detective, right?
Yeah, like
Solving
that's the
puzzles.
whole conceit of the game. Like, is finding evidence. Finding what you need to call somebody out on something when you're interrogating them. So yeah, LA Noire puzzle
Puzzle.
for me.
All right. If I argue too hard, it would look like I really wanted this game in my action adventure category. So I'm not gonna argue.
So much less action and adventure in this game than puzzle. So I'm taking it. Darn it. You had
I
your
buy it.
chance. You took Dead Space from me in this category, so I'm fucking you right back.
So I played some, sneakies, picking Tekken Tag Tournament 2, the arcade version, in the fighting game category. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D was Aaron's pick in the action adventure category. Kayla, also in the action adventure category, picked Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception, and Mike, the puzzle master himself, picked LA Noire
That's me.
in the puzzle category under much distress. But no, good pick. Good pick. And round 5 starts with Mike picking.
I'm picking my RPG now. Getting Bastion. Super Giant's first game. I think it came out a day within Limbo, So it's like crazy, like two of my all-time favorites that close together. It was a good July. If you liked last year's hit Hades from them, that's kind of the evolution of this game combat-wise, but this game's got it all. The cool style, the awesome narration and story, cool combat with RPG elements mixed in. It's just a great action RPG. Just love it. Love, love, love it.
Nice.
Thank you.
Man. Gotta check that one out. It's been on my list for the last, 10 years or so. So we'll see.
So good. So good.
Kayla, round 5.
I am gonna go fighting sport. I'm gonna go sports. Sorry. And I'm gonna do MLB The Show, MLB 11 The Show, because I can't believe Eric didn't pick it. So
it's a good one.
Very nice. Very nice.
Every year, I'll argue with anyone. Every year, MLB The Show is the best sports game of every year. They just outdo themselves every year. I can't say I necessarily remember that release above any other, but I think that's the beauty of those games is like every year, yeah, it's another one, but it's just better than last year's. It's got the new rosters and a little tweak on the paint, a little tweak on the mechanics and stuff, and it's just like if you're into baseball, there's no reason not to play these games. If you're not into baseball, there's probably a lot of reasons not to play these games.
yeah,
But
it's probably the game that is on my TV the most. So I picked it.
And I would argue that it.
No, go ahead, Eric. Sorry.
I would argue that the show is an RPG, like in every aspect that like what makes an RPG, like stats and all of those things, and complete customization of your characters. That's what that game is, and not to say that's the only, like Madden. You could say the same thing about, but like
Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Sure. Let's have that discussion. Mike, I think you were going to ask, when did the show start? I think 2010.
Oh, okay. So this was like your second shot at it. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I bet it was good. It was real good.
Yeah. Every year they just do it. This year, notwithstanding, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
On the TV a lot. Aaron, round 5.
I want to go sports. And I don't play any sports games, so I picked what's probably the best sports game that year, Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games.
Ooh.
So, I take your second favorite game of all time after Skyrim?
Yes,
Honestly, owned that game.
Oh, wow.
Enjoyed that game.
I
was playing that instead of Skyrim 10 years ago. True gamer here, folks.
He was at the store. He made a choice.
Who represented America in that one? Is it Bowser? Bowser represents us in the Mario Olympics?
I did.
Oh, okay. Well, that's up to you.
I imported my Mii into there, and we represented the entire globe. I'm Mr. Worldwide.
And that was a close one for me because apparently there's a Worms Crazy Golf game that came out in 2011.
Ooh, man.
Well, I think you still have your wild card category, Aaron. Okay. Let me wrap up round 5 here. Heavy sports year this year, apparently.
They made them. They made the sports.
You didn't say yours yet, did you?
No, I'm wrapping up round 5 with a platformer. The Ico and Shadow of the Colossus HD collection. That's the way I played these games. So it's legit because I had not played these games when they came out. And probably would have hated Shadow of the Colossus even more. Had I played it originally, but
I'm calling bullshit on this, folks. When it comes down to voting, Eric does not like these games. So even though it's awesome and amazing, know that the person picking them does not appreciate them the way they should be.
I like Ico quite a bit. I like it quite a bit. Enjoyed that game a lot. Shadow of the
Lies.
Colossus?
Lies.
Did not enjoy that game. But the good half of that collection outweighs the bad half. So
I'm so angry right now. Took my wild card, took my horror. God damn it.
see, I thought it was a Shadow the Hedgehog game. That's really I went into it hoping it was Shadow the Hedgehog, and
No, I think that was 07, a couple years off.
right. Sonic Generations came out this year. If anyone wanted to throw a wild card in there,
No, no one does.
round round 5 comes to a close. Bastion for RPG for Mike. MLB The Show 11 for Kayla in sports. Mario and Sonic at the 2012 Winter Olympics, Summer Olympics, right? London Summer.
It didn't say
Uh,
summer or winter. So.
The
Ah,
Olympics.
gotcha.
The
Sports
reigning
for
Olympics. Just
Aaron.
rainy. It's very rainy.
And in platformer, I pick just Ico and not Shadow of the Colossus. HD collection. Round 6, final round. I get to start it off. That's fun. I have wild card left.
Yeah.
You guys have picked all of the games that I liked. I'm gonna Mr. Fighting guy here. Everyone knows I love my fighting games.
MK.
I am going Mortal Kombat, the reboot. Played that this year for the first time, actually. I used a 7-day free trial to PlayStation Now to play this game because that was the only way this game was playable. You have to have a disc of this game or PlayStation Now, I think, are the two ways that you can play this game at this point in history. So Mortal Kombat, 2011's Mortal Kombat was a reboot of the series, and it hit. Like, it had some really cool ass story elements, and it like played off of the nostalgia of, if you know anything about the bonkers story of Mortal Kombat, it like hit all of the points you know. Added some cool extra stuff, put characters in places they weren't necessarily in the first like 3 games or whatever in that series, but who paid attention to those stories anyway? And it really
Many people did. Many. The Wikipedia for Mortal Kombat is vast.
Oh man.
But yeah, it really, and it set Mortal Kombat on this like new trajectory of like, okay, we're going to have this pretty intriguing campaign or main story mode, and follow these same kind of characters across. There's time travel stuff. There's all kinds of wild stuff that they do. And I played it, enjoyed it, and then I played the sequels to it, the next 2 games in the series, after not having touched a Mortal Kombat game for 20 years? I don't know. A long time. A very long time. So, for my wild card, I pick Mortal Kombat.
Man, that franchise is like sneaky the biggest fighting game franchise, still like 30 years later almost. So, good on NetherRealm for figuring that out, getting it back on track.
Good Chicago company, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
One of the last great Chicago video game makers.
Iron Galaxy. They're okay.
Aaron, final round.
All I've got left is my wild card, and I looked at the list, and I guess I didn't play a lot of games in 2011, so I decided to pick the game I like the least of every game in 2011.
Oh no!
Through wild.
Interesting strategy.
Jurassic Park the game.
Ooh, this was the Telltale one, right?
Yeah, so I played The Wolf Among Us, and I loved it, and I had read the comics. I'm like, I want to play another game, and I went online and I Googled if Jurassic Park the game was good, and I found a review that was glowing. I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy the game. So I bought it, and it is horrible. It is so bad. The entire game is just a series of it's timing to push this button to duck under a stick or run after a dinosaur, whatever. It's just horrible. I stopped playing after like half an hour. And then I went back and I looked at that review, and then I didn't keep reading, and like under it, it had been flagged because I guess they found out the review had been clearly put there by somebody involved in the making of the game.
Ah,
So like, but even now I'm Googling it, and it apparently has a really high like approval rating, but it's a horrible video game. So that's my wild card.
yeah, this was before the Telltale boom with Walking Dead and stuff, where they made
Yeah.
100 games. This was like the Back to the Future, Sam and Max era of Telltale.
I was completely unaware of them until Walking Dead, obviously. Like, I didn't know these games existed until very recently, like, listening to podcasts and stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, Telltale, like, they had some stuff.
Yeah, Jurassic Park's so bad, so bad.
Did it follow the events of the first movie or any, like, all of them?
Sort of. You're not a main character from the movie. You're like, you ever play a game when they try to make a lot of money off of a licensed game, and they've made some weird character that story runs alternates? It's like that. Which can be done well because there's actually a Lord of the Rings RPG that runs that same way. You run alongside the main like fellowship the whole way, but you're like a different group of people. That's a clear copy. That game is so fucking good. I like that game a lot, but it did not work out for Jurassic Park.
Damn.
All right, Kayla, final round. What you got?
I have my wild card left, and I am gonna pick The Witcher 2, Assassin of Kings.
Yeah, I remember you really liking this one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
I
I
played
like
this
the
one.
books.
I played this one, bought it day one because it was like just the critical reception for it was so high, and man, was rough to just kind of jump into that world. 3 does such a better job, but 2 feels like such a direct sequel to what happened, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. It's very difficult. The combat is hard to master in that, even more so than Wild Hunt, I think, and bounced off of it real quick, but it was very impressive. It wasn't as open as 3 at all, but
That's interesting.
yeah, more big areas, not a big open kind of world.
Did it have the same mechanic like at the beginning of the game where it recaps like and you have to make choices of the first?
I can't remember, but it might have, and I just kind of didn't. I'll pick this. I'll pick that. Whatever. It came. It came with a cool pendant, the wolf pendant.
Yeah, I have
that
seen
was the
that.
best. That was the best part.
I would buy it for that.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did not play this game. Honestly, I don't play a lot of the games. I usually just watch. So I feel like I can still pick it because I like the book, and I like the show, and I like the game that I have played. I like the world. I feel like I would like it.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll ever go back and like do a remaster or even like a full on remake of the first 2 after
I
the
would check those
debacle
out.
of Cyberpunk and everything else and the love for Witcher 3 and the world of The Witcher and stuff. I think if I was CD Projekt Red, I'd lean pretty heavily into that if I could.
It's hard to go back at video games.
That one would be hard to. I
Yeah.
wouldn't recommend, especially if you were a fan of 3. Trying to go back to that one would be tough, I think.
Right.
And 1 even more so, from what I've seen from 1.
Right.
I remember watching. I got into 3 and started playing it, really digging it and stuff, but not knowing the world very well. It's very like a dense lore. I watched probably like a 3-hour video, like watch this before you play Wild Hunt. And I still know nothing about that world because that shit is real confusing. There's a lot of stuff going on in that Witcher world. All right, Mike, you get to wrap up this entire draft. Make it good.
Okay, yeah, this is the final pick. There's still a really beefy boy on the table still in Infamous 2. I think a genuinely solid game. But I'm gonna go with something that's a little more in the spirit of the category. I'm gonna go with Bulletstorm here.
Whoa.
Uh, kind of a strange, like it had like a trick system to the kills. Like you had this this lasso that you could do to people, and you could pull people in, and it had a really good kick, and you could just launch enemies into like spikes, and you would get scored based on how clever or cool you were with your kills, and the environments were filled with different death traps and stuff. And it was just kind of a fun arcadey experience with a lackluster story to go around with it, but still a very cool game at the time.
Wow. Wow. All right, Bulletstorm wraps up round 6, which started with me picking Mortal Kombat, the reboot, in my wild card. We all went wild card, by the way. Jurassic Park from Telltale was Aaron's pick. He said it was the worst game he played from this year. Witcher 2, Assassin of Kings, not a big recommend from Mike and Kayla's wild card, and Bulletstorm, a game I am sort of aware of in the wild card. This was a truly wild card round, and I love it. I love it. Before we get out of here completely with this draft, I feel like we left some things on the table. I think there's a big one here, and maybe there was a question on when it was released or something, but The Binding of Isaac came out in 2011.
Yeah, it was definitely on my list. This was the base game of Isaac. I played it at the time. The game really got just better for me with the coming expansions and re-release kind of stuff, with like Afterbirth and stuff like that. So I had a tough time picking it, even though it's an absolute gem. I love the game and what it is now. But yeah, that's a solid thing to bring up. Honorable mention for sure.
Yeah, I made my
And,
short list there, so I wanted to definitely honorable mention. Fear 3 was not good,
Mhm.
but that came
Oh,
out
darn.
that year. Fear 3 was cool in the fact that it was co-op for the first time in that series.
Oh, wow.
So from a gameplay standpoint, pretty cool. Co-op, those Fear games were always super physicsy and like particle effects and everything just blew up and big time, and like the 360 ran them surprisingly well for like what they were doing with those games.
Yeah.
But it did take away a lot of the horror elements. Like the first two are a mix of action and horror because there are like some fast-paced sections and stuff. 3 was basically all action because you had a partner, and so the action kind of really ramped up on that one. But Silent Hill Downpour, I vaguely
Oof. Woof.
remember liking that one a little bit. No, that was a bad one. I don't know.
Had a lot of fun with that because it had a dedicated button to like just turn your head back and look around, and it was just like, huh, what, huh, what? I just would do that constantly, and drove Josh a little crazy with it. So that was super fun.
I had that problem with God of War. I would be playing and I would accidentally hit the turnaround thing. So I'd be able to do something and I'd just flip in the other direction. And I don't know if I just get clumsy thumbs, but that would happen to me like at least once an hour while playing that game, and it'd be so frustrating.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mario 3D Land this year, just an excellent Mario game. Used the 3D well, probably the best on that console that I saw. That game did verticality in a 3D Mario game very well. And with the 3D on it, it just helped out a lot, actually, gameplay wise. Solid game, excellent.
People tend to dig Brotherhood a little bit more in this series, but they wrapped up the Ezio story in Assassin's Creed Revelations this year. I really I liked that trilogy, which was Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and Revelations.
I only played the opening to this, and it was really cool. It was like those battles on the ships, and you're jumping from ship to ship. And for some reason, loved 2 and Brotherhood, and wanted to dive more into this one, and just didn't for some reason.
It finished his story, I think, in a
Yeah.
really interesting way. The ending was pretty cool, but maybe it overstayed its welcome. I mean, it's the first game where you're playing as the same guy for 3 stories,
Yeah.
40 plus hours, whatever.
I mean, after fist fighting the Pope in 2, I don't know if I could jive with anything less than that. Bonkers ending the 2. That was so wild.
Oh god. And then another 3 in my list of short mentions here is Gears of War 3 as well. That was cool. Like you had some like character deaths in that one, and it wrapped up that story that they continued for multiple times afterwards. But
yeah.
Did you not mention Final Fantasy Tactics?
Oh, did a
Was there like
remake
a
or something
PSP
come
one?
out?
War of the Lions?
War of the Lions was
Oh
the
my god, that's really
Yeah.
good too. That's honestly the best version of that one. That just
That's what I
completely
heard.
escaped me. That's if you're gonna play Final Fantasy Tactics, that's the version to play. The original, it is great, but the translation is real bad. And they added a handful of things in War of the Lions too, like some extra like side missions and stuff you can play around with and stuff. The content they didn't add too much in terms of content, but the translation is 10 times better, and in a game that is text-based and like a lot of talky, a very like deep story of like it's Game of Thrones level political intrigue, all that, you want it to make sense from a like a grammar standpoint. So wow, that's a good call, Kayla.
Yeah, I thought you would have picked that for sure.
How about let's recap what everyone picked?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
go right ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So I'll start with me. Why not? In the FPS category, I picked Modern Warfare 3 in the Call of Duty series. In the horror category, Dead Space 2. In the RPG category, Final Fantasy 13 2.
Woof.
The fighting category, I brought it back up. Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Platformer, Ico Shadow of the Colossus HD Collection, and Wildcard Mortal Kombat. Mike picked Batman Arkham City in his action adventure category. In the fighting game category, he picked Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Platformer was Limbo. Puzzle was LA Noire. Bastion was his RPG, and his wild card was Bullet Storm. Kayla got the game we all wanted, Skyrim RPG in round 1. Then she went on to Little Big Planet 2 in the platformer category. Dark Souls is a horror game now in round 3. Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception in the action category. It is. MLB The Show was the best game, period, that year in the sports category. And Witcher 2, Assassin of Kings. Assassin's Creed, Witcher 2, Assassin of Kings. That's the one. And Aaron started off strong with Portal 2 in the puzzle category, moved on to Lego Harry Potter years 5 through 7 in the platformer category, Dragon Age 2 in the RPG category, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D in the action category, Mario and Sonic at the 2012 London Olympics in the sports category, and Jurassic Park, the game by Telltale, rounded out Aaron's list. So we'll be posting these to social media. Tell us what you liked of 2011. What a year.
Yeah, we all got to make like Aaron got to make an Aaron list. Like Kayla got to make a Kayla. Like we all got to really like find ourselves in this year of games. I love it.
Right.
Oh gosh, yeah. I
That's
mean,
fun.
it's gonna go down as one of the just greatest years of all time. I think in terms of gaming and just like its impact on multiple series and just gaming. Like Skyrim, I've said it before, is just a phenomenon unto itself. You know, like people who don't
Yeah.
really play games still do play Skyrim. There are streamers who have played Skyrim for 10 years, like only Skyrim, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah, I think like the grandma plays Skyrim kind of scene, it spawned kind of years after its release. Even just people keep finding it and loving it. Adding to it, so many mods, so many fun things, Macho Men, dragons, and shit, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, and Dark Souls. I mean, it's not the first ever in the Souls, but it's the first to do it that way. To like, it's a lot of people's first Soulsborne game. And it kind of defined an entire genre for the
Yeah,
next probably 20 years. We're all eagerly anticipating Elden Ring, which is just a continuation of that legacy. So, man, what
yeah.
a
The
year.
three biggest games that year. I mean, we didn't mention Minecraft went 1.0 this year as well. So like, yeah, Skyrim, Minecraft, Dark Souls. Those are like they
Huge.
defined the decade right there, right at the beginning,
Right.
2011. So,
Like,
yeah.
what has Josh said he's put in, like, hours-wise into Binding of Isaac? Like,
400 something, something crazy. I might be half of that. Put in a lot of hours myself. Great, great year. Yeah, so good.
all
I
right.
agree.
So that was the 2011 video game draft. Mike hit it on the head. These lists are us. You know, these are our lists. So I
Don't
mentioned
judge me on Little Big Planet 2. That is one I know very little about.
No, it's
we
solid. Excellent pick. Excellent.
as soon as we get a PS5, we'll play that. What's it? Big Adventure or whatever.
Sackboy's Big Adventure. Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard that's pretty solid.
yeah. Excellent needle drops in that. I've heard some cool stuff with music. What's the next year we're gonna do? What do we?
Ooh,
2018, 17,
2018
07?
was a good year, man. I like doing a retro year. That'd be fun to do an older. I think what we've talked about like 97 or something before. What was I know we had a year picked out that was kind of retro that we were like, oh, that would be a good one.
If we do 96, everyone's just gonna pick Pokemon.
The first year where there's enough to fit all the category, where games are really kind of, you know, expanding out. Yeah, one of those late
So,
90s.
like the year the 64 came out, or one of those. So.
Is that 98?
No, 64 is like 95, 96.
Jesus, wow. Holy smokes. Getting old, folks. Getting old.
96.
96. Wow. Wow.
PlayStation was the year before in America, I believe. So
It's
old
always
stuff.
weird because like Super Nintendo was still like throwing out bangers at that same time.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Chrono Triggers, Mario RPG, late stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So
NES was that way too. Late in the, Super Nintendo was chugging along, and they're coming out with fucking Kirby and shit for for Nintendo. So
maybe we could do a specific console instead of a year. You know, that'd be fun
That'd be
too.
cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
console draft.
oh yeah, PS1, sign me up. That'd be awesome.
Every game. Every
N64, not so much, but that would be a fun experiment
Be a
regardless. Just
challenge.
Yeah.
Be a
try
challenge.
RPG is so there's two games.
I'm gonna go first and Quest 64, please.
Oh, passing up Paper Mario, what a fool. Oh man.
I've only played one of those two games, and it was Quest 64.
Oh, Eric.
I think we should leave this up to the Monstars. I think this is a good poll.
What
We'll create a
console to do?
poll of
Yeah.
what console we should do for the next draft. I like that.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
You've heard it here first, folks. All right, we got to get out of here. This has been fun. It was the 2011 video game draft. As always, like, subscribe, rate, and review us on whatever podcast app you use. Tell a friend. We'd love for more people to hear us. If they're not into podcasts, tell a friend about our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit us up on Monstars, our fan group. And if you'd like to hear your voice on this pod, go over to anchor.fm/machine of nonsense and leave us a little voice message there. You can leave a 1-minute voice clip and I will put it on a future episode. We'd love to hear from you. Wrapping up episode 54 of the Machine of Nonsense, the 2011 video game draft. I was joined by Aaron, Mike, and Kayla. I'm your host, Eric. We're getting out of here and saying goodbye.
Bye.
La luli lay low.
Shit.
Gotta keep in that shit, please.
Oh, it's in there, baby. Oh.
I went to a concert with Josh a long time ago, and I had spilled Strawberry Crush all over my pants, and I wiped it off. And then we went into the concert, and it was all black lights, and my pants just lit up because apparently carbonated water sets those things off. It was awful. The whole front of my pants just lit up. It looked so bad.
Well, I found my after credits for this episode. Thank you.